TVweb.com.
I ask you a little bit about the genesis of the series. Where did this idea sort of come from? How did you kind of put it all together and decide to go with the internet for?
The idea came from a gentleman out of D.C. named Ray Ramsey. He was the CEO of a company called One Economy, and he basically would say, how do we get people to go online, because minorities are the last ones to adopt, internet, technology, what have you. He says, can you create a show about single mothers that will speak to that audience and do it online, and can we build an audience based on that and create content in 12 minutes? And be able to create a toolbox that people can watch the show and they can click on and make their lives better. When he laid out the assignment, I was like, I never have done that before, but I'm going to try. And so that's how it all came about. And then I called a friend of mine that's a writer, Cheryl West. She wrote the script. And then we had auditions, and I called certain people that I always wanted to work with, like Richard Roundtree, Billy D. Williams, Diane Carroll, Leon, Irma P. Hall, and they all came aboard.
Now, had you known all of them previously through? I mean, obviously you'd worked with Leon before in Five Heartbeats, but did you know just through life, Richard, and or are you making cold calls just to legends saying?
Well, I had seen them before, like at different events, like an award show or something. He goes like, "Hey man, we're gonna work together, man. I like to work with you. I like to work with you," like that. And then all of a sudden I go, "He'd be good in this." And then I called, and they were like, "Robert's doing what? Okay, I'm in." You know what I mean? So.
And is that the reaction when you get a hold of them? Is just like, okay, I'll whatever. Where
I feel, they were talking about it earlier, but I feel really honored that, you can call somebody a legend, and they would say like, okay, yeah, it's for the web, you're experimenting, we're trying something different, I'm in.
And from talking to all of them, they all respect you and your career a great deal, so it must be an honor to know that they want to work with Robert Townsend. Right?
The thing for me is that I've always just had fun. I love what I do. I love this. I love this. So I'm just having a good time.
Well, tell me about. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but the educational aspects of the show and how it really is helping communities. Can you talk about? Because you wouldn't be able to do that on television or film. Like that's an aspect that only internet can provide.
Well, basically, when you go to the page and you're watching the show, you can watch the show, then you can click. There's a toolbox on the side of the screen, and say the lead character Ocean is getting her GED, and you watch the show and she's struggling with her GED. Maybe you're at home and you're like going, I never graduated from high school and I want to get my GED. On the side of the toolbox, you can click on it. You can say, are you interested in getting your GED? Click here. Then there's a character, Lupe, who's been diagnosed with breast cancer. And so then if you're a woman and you're watching, you're going, well, what are the symptoms? You can click on the toolbox. So it's interactive, but it's kind of like, I think a lot of times people watch movies and television for guidance in their lives. Like, wow, that character, that's how he dealt with his girlfriend cheating on him, or that character dealt with cancer like that. Oh, that's how I should deal with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. You spoke about the directing in season 3, the gunslingers coming together, right? The gunfighters, Richard Roundtree, Billy D. Williams. Tell me about, that day and directing the two of them. I was shocked to hear they had never acted before together.
Again, this came from Ray Ramsey. Ray said, why don't you have a scene with Billy D. and Richard Roundtree together? And then Cheryl and I were like, they've never been in this scene before. So then she wrote this powerful scene. And so the day came to shoot the scene, and I was literally in heaven because these are two legends and my heroes I grew up on. And they got this fiery fight kind of scene. And the scene was 2.5 pages long, and I just remember rehearsing with them and watching them, go at it. But I had to step outside of me, like looking down, like I'm working with two legends. And it was interesting because they both work differently in a way. Where Richard, listens and studies it more, and Billy D will just go, he'll just explode. And then Richard will say, okay, I've got all the information I need, now watch this. So it's like, they take their moments, and we did the scene again. We did the scene again. Hey, I want to try this, or I want to try that. The scene is wonderful, but I think I was having an out-of-body experience.
Do you feel that you are better? You become better as a director from direct. I mean, do you feel like you learned something from that experience? Like maybe, and certainly for your acting as well. I would imagine.
Well,
you
I
learned
think
something.
as an artist, anytime you get to sit up close and personal with really talented, brilliant artists, you learn something. So, and I'm open. I'm a vessel. I'm just open to learn. And so it's brilliant to watch them work. It really is. And I mean, that scene came out. I mean, there's a couple. They had 3 scenes together, like just them going at each other, and they're all different and they're all special.
Wow. And then as far as directing for the internet as opposed to film and TV, does it kind of feel like a throwback to Hollywood Shuffle? I mean, is it sort of that independent, like run and gun, you don't have all this sort of money and time that you made on another feature?
It is and it isn't, because it's what I was saying earlier. Never show, any show you work on, there's never enough time and never enough money. So it's kind of like, we have a budget, so it's not Hollywood Shuffle. We have everybody.
You have permits and you have, right.
I'm running from the police. Shot real quick. It's not that. But every show I've ever worked on, you always need more time, you need more money.